So Wrestlepalooza just happened, and it wasn't what a lot of us thought it was going to be. Definitely not what a lot of us wanted it to be, and definitely not what Triple H promised us it was going to be. And why was it not like that? Why was it, in a lot of people's eyes, a letdown? Let's actually go match by match to see where it all went wrong. So Triple H had promised us an event as big and as exciting as WrestleMania, but it was a huge letdown and a disappointment in a lot of areas, not everywhere. But the biggest example of this disappointment was definitely the opening match of John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. Now, here's the thing: none of us thought this was going to be a fun match. None of us thought this was going to be a great five-star classic, right? But we had hoped it was going to be interesting, and at the very least, that was going to have the right winner. And with right winner, I think we all meant John Cena, because this is his retirement tour, and he's a babyface now. I think we all just want to celebrate him in his final few nights or his final few matches, and they give one to Brock Lesnar, which a lot of people already not into that. And then what happens? Brock not only beats him, Brock squashes him a la 2014 at SummerSlam. Now, this is definitely not meant to be a celebration of John Cena's retirement, but rather a way to reestablish Brock Lesnar as a dominant force, probably in the main event scene. I assume he's going to be challenging someone for a world championship after Crown Jewel. Now, whenever that happens, I'm not very excited about that. I don't think anyone is particularly excited about that. But speaking on this match, speaking about John Cena's retirement tour, I think all of us can agree it was a waste putting that match with Brock Lesnar. Yes, it was a big marquee match of big names. It just wasn't worth it. Bad start for Wrestlepalooza. Now, next we had the tag match, right? The Usos versus the Braun and Bronson. And it was okay. It was a decent Raw main event. And that's the thing with Wrestlepalooza, is that three of its five matches, not two of its five matches, because I'll let you know in a second. But the average of the show was Raw main event. That was the average of the show. It wasn't this big revelation. It wasn't this big exciting moments. It was just uh, good for an episode of Raw, not this amazing, groundbreaking, shocking start of a new era that we thought it was going to be. The debut of Raw on Netflix was better than WrestlePalooza. And again, this tag match between the Usos and the Brawns, it was just another match, the same match that we have seen on Raw this past few weeks. Yes, it was fun to see LA Knight as a special ref, and Jey Uso busted himself open with a chair, which, like, how? But I hope he's okay. So yeah, nothing particularly exciting about this one. It was fun to see the Usos tagging again. Like that was neat, but overall unnecessary, or not, like they just didn't do anything particularly cool with this one. I hope this means, because Braun and Bronson won, that can be a lead up to them actually doing something cool and fun, like winning the tag titles from the Judgment Day, who are doing nothing with those tag titles. So that'd be cool, but let's see what we can get out of this one. Then we had what was probably, at least on a technical level, by far match of the night, which was Stephanie McCare versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship. Now, this match, again, on a technical level, was really, really good. But I had a hard time connecting with this match. Now, Stephanie McCare had been absent from TV on the past like 6 weeks. Apparently, that's because she was sick. So, no, you can't do anything about that. But there wasn't really any big excitement about this match, other than knowing that the match was going to be good, right? So, again, match was really good, but it wasn't as good as other good women's matches this year. Like, it wasn't as good as a triple threat at WrestleMania with Bianca, Io, and Rhea. It wasn't as good as the Evolution match with Io and Rhea, and it wasn't as good as the SummerSlam triple threat with Naomi. So yeah, it was good. Again, it was a really solid, really good on a technical level, a perfectly wrestled match, and a really good finish. I really love the spiral tap that Stephanie Vaquer does, but it just wasn't. Again, it had a hard time connecting, probably because it had a lot of competition. Again, those previous matches that I had mentioned um, in the year, it just didn't live up to them. But it was a really solid match. Now, what was probably match of the night for me on an entertainment level was by far CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. Now, this match was a little bit of a tale of two matches, right? Because on one hand, the first half was a very generic, kind of slow, kind of boring, just tag match, right? Building up to the hot tag, they're isolating one of the members. In this case, CM Punk was being isolated by, I want to say, like 15 minutes. It was a long match, and he was isolated for a good portion of it. But as soon as that hot tag hit, boy, was it fun. This was sports entertainment, the match. It was just a really fun piece of sports entertainment. It was fun. Again, wrestling kind of messy in a couple of spots, but really, really fun action and fun character work. We got to see a lot of sharpshooters, which was weird. It's weird that that's just CM Punk's submission now. He put Becky Lynch in a sharpshooter. That was fun. AJ Lee did a stomp on Seth Rollins. That was fun. They broke a table. So yeah, it was really fun action, fun character work. A little bit on the long side. Again, I would have probably shaved honestly 10 minutes of the beginning portion, maybe 5 minutes of the beginning portion. But again, as soon as that AJ Lee hot tag hit, boy, it was a blast. Again, this is probably my favorite kind of matches, where it's just a lot of fun character, a lot of fun moments with these guys, with these performers. That is not doesn't have to be a technical masterpiece or a huge spot fest. It just has to be fun moments, and this is what it was. It was an amazing match. If I had to show, this is a question that I get a lot, right? If you were to show a match to someone that isn't a fan, which one would you show? If I had to pick a match from this specific PLE, Wrestlepalooza, I would show this match. This was a tons of fun. You don't have to really know much. You just see the characters, you decide who you like. And yeah, I love this match. It was, again, this and Stephanie Vaquer versus EO elevated the show from just bad, right? If it wasn't for these two matches, the show would just flat out be bad. But these keep it in a little bit of a higher level. And then we had the main event of Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And again, it was a match. It wasn't poorly wrestled. It was competent. It was a solid story throughout the match. Drew lost clean. And I think that's a problem, is that it was just a match. It was just a title defense. If this was a main event on SmackDown, it would have been great and people would have forgotten about it the next day. But this was the main event of the first PLE of Wrestlepalooza, where again, Triple H promised us WrestleMania levels of excitement and surprises, and none of that was to be found in here. This wasn't worthy of the main event spot. Either of the women's matches should have gotten it. This was just a match. And Cody won, and that was it. Right? And I feel like a lot of people wanted Drew McIntyre to win, if anything, just for the surprise. I'm fine with Cody winning, especially because we have Crown Jewel coming up, where he's going to face Seth for the title, which had a little face off in the post show. And I'm fine with that. But yeah, we should have had something